Hi everybody, it's Laura. Thank you so much for joining me on my channel. Today I have a layout that I made with the May My Creative Scrapbook limited edition kit. In the May kit, we got this beautiful, beautiful collection from 49 and Market. You may have seen it. It's called Kaleidoscope. And I think this paper that I'm working with now is my favorite paper from the kit. Something that I love about 49 and Market papers is that you don't really have to do any or a lot of mixed media. It's totally up to you because they already have all of those cool effects in the pattern papers. I did want to add my own touch to the background, so I'm using this stencil from my stash. This is a Tim Holtz stencil. It kind of looks like dots or maybe spilled paint, and I am going to put this pattern all around the inside of the stitching line that's on this paper, and I'm using some modeling paste and a metal palette knife to do that. I knew that I was going to have a lot of embellishments in the center of the page, so I'm really not worried about getting modeling paste there. And as I'm looking at the layout, now that I'm voicing over the video, I'm thinking that it might have looked really nice to add some actual stitching to those lines. It would have given it some dimension, but I didn't think to do that at the time, so I'm going to have to just stick with the stitching printed on the page. 49 and Market frequently has stitching printed on their pattern papers, and I'll often use it as a guide as to where I could put stitching on the page. I really like the effect of stitching. On this layout though, I'm going to get my texture from the modeling paste. I'm taking my palette knife and I'm just gently scraping away any of the modeling paste that went beyond the stitching line. I wasn't trying to make it perfect. I was just trying to make sure that I didn't have the modeling paste all over that outer border. And although this modeling paste isn't super noticeable, I think that it adds a nice addition to those colorful areas in the background. And then once I'm done adding the modeling paste to the background, I put this pattern paper aside to dry. Now I'm inking the edges of a number of the embellishments that I plan to use on the layout. I used picked raspberry for the pink embellishments, crushed olive and twisted citron for the green embellishments. I used peacock feathers for the blue ones, and then I also used some distress ink in black soot to ink the black embellishments. I got my idea for this layout from these 3 long thin pieces of paper that were in the ephemera pack. I just love this bright cheery color combination. It's amazing how colors can make you feel happy. I knew that I was going to use them in the background, and then as I was playing around with them, I realized that I thought it would look best if I took the blue and the pink and I angled them in toward the green, which is going in the center. I attached those 3 strips down and then I layered my photo on top. The photo is of my daughter Julia. It measures 2 3/4 by 4 inches. And now I'm going to start adding my embellishments to those 3 strips. I started off with the largest embellishments, which are these frames that have diagonal stripes on them, and then I matched each of the frames to their corresponding color. Whenever I'm adding 3 of the same embellishment to the layout, I try to use this rule, and I hope this will be helpful for you. If I draw a horizontal line going through the center of each of these embellishments, those lines aren't going to touch or cross each other. And then if I draw a vertical line going through the center of each of these, those lines aren't going to touch each other either. And I think that by keeping each of those embellishments in their same plane, if that makes sense, I think I'm going back to my high school geometry, I think that really helps to spread them nicely across the page. That principle kind of keeps me from having the same embellishments kind of stacked up on top of each other or in a straight line going across the layout. And it's just something that I keep in mind, and I think the same way when I'm adding any kind of embellishments that are the same. So I'm going to add some butterflies and some hearts in each of the 3 colors, and you'll see that I try to do the same thing with those. I end up with a lot of little embellishments on this page. I added some hearts. I also added some really cute buttons. They look dimensional to me. I'm adding embellishments like bows, tickets, labels, and all of these embellishments came in the kit in a variety of different colors. which is perfect for this layout. I added this blue bingo card on the right, and that ended up kind of giving me a lot of grief because I like having something in that spot, but I think that that bingo card is just a little bit too large. So I go back and forth quite a bit on that bingo card, but in the end, I end up removing it from the layout because I just thought it just demanded way too much attention and your eye goes right to it. And I think it might be because it's a little bit too big for that spot. So I tried tucking it underneath the cluster. I thought that that might help it to be a little bit less noticeable, but in a few moments I'm going to take it off the layout. So I added some black elements as well, and I'm keeping those in the center. My title says the very best moments, and there's also a black bow on top of that, and then that will help to draw the eye to the center where I have the black mat around the photo, or at least that's the goal. On the left-hand side of the layout in the pink section, I have a flower that has a number of green leaves. I wasn't sure at first if I should include that because the leaves were green, and I found another branch and I thought I'll add that to the other side, and that way there'll be a little bit of green in both the pink and the blue area. I took away that bingo card, but I have not yet figured out what I'm going to do in that spot. At first, I thought maybe I could fill in that area with some tickets, but those turned out to be too small. So I took this little piece that I think is supposed to be waste after you punch out the ephemera pieces, but I thought that it would be perfect for that spot. So I looked through the images that were in the kit and I found that there was one of a blue butterfly with some blue flowers. So I liked the way that paper was blue, so it went along with the area that I'm putting it on the layout. And then I also liked that it was a butterfly because I love butterflies. And then after I mounted the paper behind that heart, I added some blue pattern paper as a mat all around the outside. And I think that this works for that spot. And I'll have to save that bingo card for another layout. I'm going to pop up a couple of the elements on the page using some fun foam. The first thing that I pop up is my photo. I use some fun foam that's adhesive on one side, and then I put some ATG adhesive on the foam, and then I stuck it down to the center of the page where I had the photo before. I'm also going to pop up a few other elements on the page. I pop up both parts of the title, the little banner that says the very best, and then also the word moments. I'm also going to pop up the wings of the butterflies. I'm going to add some foam to the backs of those larger buttons, the ones that look dimensional too. And I say this on my videos all the time. I think that fun foam is just the right thickness to add a tiny bit of dimension to certain elements on the page. I don't want to have too much dimension on this page, but I do like the idea of a couple of the elements being emphasized by having some foam behind them. My thinking is that if I could only pop up one thing on the page, it would be the photo, because of course that's supposed to be the thing that draws your eye, that has the most attention on the page, or the focal point. Then I usually pop up a few other things too. I'm adding some foam to the pink heart, and the reason for that is it overlaps the photo, so I had to put some foam behind it so that it would sit nicely on top of the photo, but I don't add foam to the other two hearts. And then I don't show the footage of this, but I go all around the page and I use my ATG adhesive and I attach everything down. Most things I kept exactly where they were, but I did move a couple of things around just a little bit. However, the overall layout stayed the same. I like the arrangement of the embellishments, so I always take a photo with my camera just to make sure that if anything gets moved around, I know where I had it before, and that has come in quite handy at times. I moved the butterflies away from the center cluster a little bit. I'm not sure if I really love that, but that was my thinking at the moment. I wanted to see what it looked like if the butterflies were a little bit more spread out. And then I added some photo corners to my photo. I thought about that for a while. I was thinking I could add blue ones on the right and pink ones on the left, but then I decided that I would kind of emphasize the fact that the photo was in the center by adding some green photo corners to all four corners of the photo. I added 3 little sparkly jewels to each of the butterflies. Those are Angel's Craft stone stickers. I started thinking that the layout didn't look centered, so I wanted to extend that green strip So I took my scissors and I cut behind the photo, and that allowed me to bring that piece of paper down and make it look a little bit longer. And I think that made the balance on the page a little bit better. And when I say that I felt the layout didn't look centered, what I mean is that I felt that the embellishments in the center at the top of the page were much closer to the edge of the paper than the embellishments on the bottom. And I wanted that to be not exactly the same, but a little bit closer to being the same. So making the strip look a little bit longer and then adding that butterfly really helped with that. And then I put the title and the other embellishments back where they were below the photo. Then I use my date stamp, and the date fits really nicely on those 49 and market tabs. And then I attached it down to the right-hand side of my photo. And then I added some black enamel dots to each of the 4 photo corners. And that is the very last touch that I add to this layout. This layout is complete, and here are a few close-ups. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope that you enjoyed it. I want to say thank you so much for watching my videos, for liking them, and then also for all those really sweet and supportive comments that you've been leaving me. Don't worry, I'm going to answer each and every comment, and I am very appreciative that you took the time to do that. Please take a look at the link in the description box for the My Creative Scrapbook website. You can check out all of their beautiful kits. They have new ones each and every month. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll see you again soon. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.